Hey, what's up, guys? Jeremy Morgan here with Abbey Realty. I'd like to take a quick minute, just kind of give you an update on what's going on with the real estate market right now. Talking to friends, family, or anybody that I really tell that I'm a real estate agent to, the first thing they ask me is, really, what the hell is going on with the market right now? It is getting a little crazy out there, if you haven't been keeping track. And if not, I'd like to give you kind of a quick synopsis of what's going on. Or if you have been kind of noticing what's going on out there, go into a little bit of a deeper dive as far as some of the reasons why we're seeing such a crazy market. It is absolutely a seller's market. So if you're looking to sell here shortly, congratulations, that's awesome, because you're probably going to be getting multiple offers at or above list cost, assuming that the house is priced correctly for the market. If you're on the buying side, I apologize, but it's going to be a little bit of a trying time for you, trying to find that perfect house at a cost that you're willing to go up to, because you're going to be competing against a lot of other people right now. So I'd like to kind of go over some of the main reasons as to why we are experiencing such a crazy market. First is going to be the interest rates. We just recently came out of 7 months straight of sub 3% interest rates. To put that into context, my wife and I refinanced our house in November. We got a 2.87% interest rate. Compare that to my parents 30 years ago. Same scenario, had just bought a brand new house. I was a whopping 2 years old. 1990, the interest rate was 10.19%. So when we say we're at historic lows, we're at historic lows. And that's what has caused a number of people who have been on the sidelines for the last 2 or 3 years kind of thinking about buying a house. Last year, they bought a house because they had so much more buying power with the interest rates being so low. Now that's nuts. Sub 3%. Inflation is running at 3%. One of the next things that has been affecting us so much is just the inventory available. The number of homes on the market, it's just scarce out there. It's not that nobody wants to sell, there's just not enough homes for sale based upon the number of buyers that are trying to get in. And the cost associated with that has been causing all the houses to appreciate, which kind of raises the level, because we are in a capitalist, or quasi-capitalist for the most part, but the real estate market does go off of supply and demand. HAR, Houston Association of Realtors, came out and stated that year over year, the market has increased an average of 16.9%. That is nuts, guys. The median increase in property valuation has gone up 12.6%. The average house, you're looking at a cost of approximately $350,000 in Houston. The median price, $276,000, respectively. There's just not enough homes on the market, so it's driving the cost up. And again, there's multiple reasons for that, as far as what's causing the scarcity. With that, I'd like to kind of cover a few of those. First is new home construction. They're just not capable of keeping pace with the demand. Your typical home takes, on the low end, if it's pretty fast, 3 months. That's kind of iffy, but typically it's in the 6 to 8 month range to build a new home. And they just can't keep pace with the demand today, waiting 8 months for that house to come on the market. Tied to that is the pandemic. It's wreaked havoc on everything from labor to material to city inspections. It's just anything associated with the construction process has been held up because of the pandemic. Here in Texas, we were very fortunate that we didn't experience the same shutdown as many, East and West Coast states. As it were, we still, did see a few months of some pretty strict lockdowns and ending the curve and all that kind of stuff. But we opened up significantly quicker than many other states. But again, that construction aspect was ceased for multiple months because of crews. You'd have one person test positive, and then you'd have the contact tracing, so his entire crew would be sent home from that project. It's also impacted the procurement of materials. Whenever factories shut down because of COVID protocol, you don't have the material on the job site. You've got guys, even if everybody's healthy, they could be standing there not being productive because they're waiting on sheetrock or lumber to show up because they can't work. So with that, it impacts everybody. You can still drive on the Beltway right now, and you're seeing the Harris County signage saying threat level red. Jen and I kind of laugh at each other every time we drive past it because we're expecting somebody to have hacked it and just put in like threat level midnight. A little bit of a sidebar, but that ties over to everything from lumber, sheetrock, semiconductors. That's probably one of the biggest ones right now. If you've gone out and tried to buy a refrigerator or washing machine or anything like that, you're waiting 6 to 8 weeks. Sorry, got the puppy in here. But we just can't keep up with the demand. Even Ford, GM, Honda, they've shut down different sections of their production line because they can't get the electrical components to actually fabricate the trucks. So you're seeing shortages on the car dealerships as well. Another aspect is the pandemic itself is just so many people were kind of holding off for about 2 to 3 months right after we had the shutdowns. So there was a drawdown in the amount of homes being sold or even listed, and then it just ramped up at summer. And we really haven't seen a slowdown since. But following the construction aspect of it is the resources. And it's not just tied to the pandemic. Winter Storm Uri came through Texas and the South, Louisiana, Alabama, and it knocked out a number of the oil refineries. Even if they were just off for a couple days, they still had to shut down for a couple weeks to do inspections to make sure all the piping systems, the miles and miles and miles of piping that they have, do inspections and make sure everything was up to code, up to standards before they actually turned those refineries back on, or those plastic providers back on. In addition to that, we're not just pulling from the new construction on the delayed aspect for materials, we're pulling because of renovations. We had a significant amount of people, unfortunately, having pipes burst in their home and flooding it. And it was just a nightmare. According to the catastrophic insurance modeling company, Karen Clark and Company, they estimated the losses to be approximately $18 billion from Winter Storm Uri. To put that into context, Hurricane Harvey was in the same ballpark. It went up to about $30 billion of effects, but that's how much material, that's how much labor you're pulling away from new construction in order to repair to living standards, to building operating standards for homes and commercial businesses that, again, otherwise would have gone to new construction. So again, that's putting a strain on the market. So you're not having the inventory of homes coming out for that. We don't even really know what the effect's going to be on lumber future-wise, because the piney woods, East Texas, Louisiana, we might have had a lot of trees that might not make it and come back. So even a couple years down the road, we might be seeing some lumber issues, on top of the fact that they've already doubled over the last year anyway. You've been to Lowe's or Home Depot lately and tried to pick up a 2x4. It's easily gone up double over the last 8 months. Other outside factors, you got the massive Evergreen ship that was stuck in the Suez Canal that bogged it up, and Egypt's got it impounded right now for $900 million. That's the economic impact that they are saying that it had just on Egypt. You had millions and millions of tons of cargo that had to reroute or was delayed for a full week. We have just gotten to a point where we are so backlogged and waiting on materials that, again, it's putting a strain on new home construction. Again, that goes to the supply of new homes and the interest rates that we talked, kind of triggering a number of people on the sidelines to jump in. But the pandemic impact also had an impact on just people in general who already owned homes. You had a lot of people that were trying to keep up with the Joneses and living above their means. They had a $400,000 mortgage where they should have probably been around, $280 to $320. Nice luxury cars, lots of credit card debt, and the pandemic was a wake-up call. They had to tighten their belt, downsize, and they're dropping down to where they should be in the, below 300, 350 range. That's the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car. It's also the same segment that, again, my generation is coming into. We're looking for starter homes with our families, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, and the sub 350 range. You got investors that are looking for, houses that supply middle America. And that is 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, less than 200,000. So this segment of the market, the 250 to 300 range, it's just exploded with so many people vying for those homes. You've got baby boomers that are not moving out, and justifiably so. They're scared of what the pandemic's going on. But according to Pew Research poll, since 2011, approximately 2 million baby boomers have retired each year. Last year in 2020, that number shot up to 3.2 million. I'm sure the pandemic forced a lot of them into early retirement, but that's a huge chunk of people that got severance packages or retirement packages that are paying off their houses, and they're content to just kind of stay where they're at for the time being and let this all play out. So you're not getting the homes coming on the market that would typically otherwise. And again, justifiably so. I wouldn't necessarily want my grandparents having a bunch of people trounce through their home, showing the property, trying to sell it. Let them stay and, let all this kind of work itself out. That's not even hitting the fact that we've got bumper stickers now that say "Don't California my Texas." Kind of a joke, but there is some justification to it. You have a huge amount of people just coming into the state of Texas from other states, be it the East Coast or West Coast, California, New York, Illinois. Lots of these people are kind of moving on the principle of the policies for taxation and regulation. They're following their companies that are relocating to Houston, to Dallas, to Austin. You've got Tesla, you got Oracle, HP just announced that they're moving their global headquarters over to Spring. So you've got this massive influx of people that are just coming in to the state. According to the Census Bureau, last year we had 376,000 people move into the state of Texas. Compare that to California, you had a net 69,000 people leave the state. That's pretty significant. And why are they leaving? It's because they're coming here for the tax shelter, for lack of a better word. Texas ranks number 46 out of 50 as far as the worst states for property tax. So I'll go ahead and say that right now. You're looking at an average of 1.8% property taxes. Compare that to California, who ranks number 16 at 0.72%. That's a pretty big difference. We almost doubled it, but it's not accounting for the cost of living. The median priced home in California, you're looking at $505,000. Median price for Houston or for Texas, $172,000. I would much rather pay a check for property taxes at 1.8% on $172,000 assessed value versus 0.72% on $500,000, and that doesn't even touch the state income tax. The average person in the California, you're making around $75,000. That puts you in a 9.3 state income tax bracket. What does Texas have? Nothing. We don't have a state income tax. That's why they're moving here. And not that, everybody's a millionaire in California, but I mean, their cost of living is significantly higher. But if you do make over $1 million in California, you're looking at a 12.3% income tax bracket. And the best part about this is, and you can, fact check me for sure. If you make over $1 million in California, you also have to pay a 1%, let me get this straight, mental health service tax. I don't even know what that means, but you're paying a 1% state income tax over $1 million for mental health services. I don't get it, but that's why they are coming here. That's kind of the main aspects of what's going on in the market right now. And again, to reiterate, we're exploding. You've got just a huge influx of people coming here. Again, the Census Bureau noted that we had approximately 370,000 people move here over the last year. Guys, for reference, the population of the Woodlands is 113,000 people. So that's 3 cities or townships, however you want to look at it. And per the Texas Demographic Center, Texas makes up 8.9% of the entire U.S. population, which is pretty significant considering there's 50 other states. But the crazy part is that between 2019 and 2020, Texas represented 32% of the population growth. That's just astronomical. So it's not going to slow down anytime soon, unfortunately, or at least if you're a buyer. If you're a seller, awesome, go for it. Want to retire and move to Florida? Have at it, but Florida was the #1 state for population growth last year. Texas came in at #2, so it's not going to get much better for you. But that is just kind of an overall view of what's going on with the market right now. And if there's anything I can do to help you, please feel free to reach out at any time, answer any kind of questions you got. I'd love to, go over it and just kind of, again, tell you what's going on and give you some options as far as what you can look at. If you have any kind of questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Number's 281-727-0946. Email address is jmorgantxra@gmail.com, or you can check out the website at jmorgantxra.com. Again, guys, just a brief update, but if you got any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to dive in this a little bit deeper. Some pretty interesting stuff. And again, we just kind of touched the surface here because there are so many moving parts as far as what is going on with this market. So with that, I'll let you go. Thank you, guys.